Melania is focusing on son Barron and avoiding giving attention to Trump's viral mugshot as she navigates his legal turmoil and stays out of spotlight. Melania Trump is focusing on her son Barron and is not expected to join husband Donald Trump on the campaign trail or in the courtroom as she continues to stay out of the spotlight. And her silence includes staying mum on Trump's mugshot, which went viral after he was booked and fingerprinted in a Georgia jailhouse for charges of election fraud. Melania is good at taking care of business at hand, which includes her own life, the life of her son, and the lives of her close family members, a source told People magazine. She would not stand in a circle of people she knows and openly comment on the lawsuits or the mugshot. She will have her way of dealing with this and anything else publicly when she feels like it. The former First Lady, 53, was last seen in public 3 weeks ago, running errands in New York as her husband hosted LIV golf stars at his Bedminster, New Jersey, club. Her hair was lighter, with soft blonde highlights, and her handbag was expensive, a $6,400 Chanel shiny lambskin handbag. But it's more notable where she has not been. She was not at Donald Trump's side during any of his court appearances in New York, Florida, Washington, D.C., or Georgia. She was not present at Mar-a-Lago, the night he defended himself after his first arraignment. She was not with Trump at Bedminster when he railed against the federal charges against him in the classified documents case. And she has had reason to keep out of the spotlight. Barron, 17, has faced death threats. Last week, police arrested former social studies teacher Tracy Marie Fiorenza on a charge of transmitting threats to kill or injure months after she traveled to Florida to allegedly stalk the former president's youngest son. Police in Palm Beach questioned the teacher outside the Oxbridge Academy, where Barron attends high school, in March, as reported by the Chicago Tribune. In May, Fiorenza allegedly emailed the school's headmaster, writing, "I will state that I will shoot Donald Trump Sr. and Barron Trump, sick, straight in the face at any opportunity that I get." Barron is rarely seen in public. He was last spotted with his mother in New York in late June, leaving Trump Tower in New York with carts full of Louis Vuitton luggage. Melania is helping her son, who is a rising senior, with his college search, the New York Times reported. He is beginning to look at colleges in New York. Remember, Melania is a mom with a not-yet-adult son to protect, a source told People. A mugshot that everyone is talking about is just one more issue to wade through. The former First Lady has always valued her privacy, even in the fishbowl of the White House. Since the Trump's exit from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Melania has stayed mainly behind the closed doors of her 3 homes, the lavish New York City apartment in Trump Tower, the Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, and the private home on the grounds of Trump Bedminster Golf Course. But she does share Trump's view that most of these legal issues are election interference by his political rivals, a source told People. Trump, who is facing multiple indictments in 4 court cases, has claimed he is the victim of a witch hunt and a weaponized government. He faces criminal cases in Florida, Georgia, New York, and Washington, D.C. He was indicted in New York on charges related to the alleged hush money payments made to porn star Stormy Daniels. Earlier this month, a Georgia grand jury indicted Trump and 18 others for their alleged roles in trying to overturn the 2020 election in the state. His Florida case is on federal charges related to the handling of classified documents. He was also indicted in D.C. by Special Prosecutor Jack Smith for allegations of election interference. In the Georgia case, unlike the others, Trump had to be photographed for a mugshot, which was released publicly. The former president used it to raise millions for his presidential campaign and to rally his supporters. Melania hates all of the legal problems but understands how her husband uses adversity to his advantage, the source said. She knows the mugshot is sending both a F******* message to his enemies as well as a kiss to his flock. But that doesn't mean she'll be publicly supporting Trump either in the courtroom or on the campaign trail. Melania does her best to duck the media and stay out of the issues surrounding this case and the others, a Trump family source told the magazine. It's just one more issue to get beyond. She was last seen with her husband in April when they had Easter brunch together at Mar-a-Lago, their Palm Beach home. She hasn't appeared at one of Donald Trump's campaign events since he announced his 2024 bid at Mar-a-Lago on November 15, 2022. Her absence and her silence could backfire, causing people to think she really doesn't care, a reference to the now infamous jacket Melania wore in June 2018 on a trip to the border to visit with children separated from their families. The back read, "I really don't care, do you?" She did release a statement in early May, announcing her support for Donald Trump's election bid. "He has my support, and we look forward to restoring hope for the future and leading America with love and strength." It's one of a handful of statements she's made since the Trumps left the White House in January 2021. But Donald Trump has said Melania stands by him. The couple have been married 20 years. He told Fox News in June that Melania thinks he has been very badly mistreated and is 100% with him, even though the former First Lady hasn't been seen at his side as he fights off 2 indictments. In an interview with Fox News' Bret Baier, Trump was asked how his First Lady was handling all of this. "The people love Melania," Trump said. "She's a very confident person. She feels I'm being very badly mistreated. And she says, you go ahead and you do whatever you want to do because I'm with you 100%. Trump, who called his wife a woman of great dignity and beauty and style, told Fox News that both Melania and their son Barron are doing great. Meanwhile, as Trump and Republicans target Georgia's Fani Willis for retribution, the state's governor opts out. Some Republicans in Washington and Georgia began attacking Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis immediately after she announced the August 14 indictment of former President Donald Trump for conspiring to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. But others, including Governor Brian Kemp, have been conspicuous in their unwillingness to pile on. Kemp, who had previously survived scathing attacks from Trump over his refusal to endorse the former president's false claims about the election, declined to comment on the indictment of Trump and 18 others at a conservative political conference hosted by radio host and Kemp ally Eric Erickson. Noting that he had been called before a special grand jury to testify during the investigation, Kemp stated forcefully that Democratic President Joe Biden was the rightful winner of Georgia's 16 electoral votes and said swinging the spotlight to Trump's legal troubles would be a mistake. "Democrats want us to be focused on things like this, so we're not focused on Joe Biden's record," Kemp told Erickson on August 18. Trump, meanwhile, has kept up a withering assault on both Willis and Kemp. Governor Kemp of Georgia is fighting hard against the impeachment of the crooked, incompetent, and highly partisan DA of Fulton County, Fani Willis, who has allowed murder and other violent crime to massively escalate, the former president wrote August 21 on his Truth Social platform. "Crime in Atlanta is worst in nation. She should be impeached for many reasons, not just the witch hunt. I did nothing wrong." There's little evidence to support Trump's claim that crime is escalating. The number of homicides has fallen sharply in Atlanta this year. Other Georgia Republicans didn't hesitate to assail Willis, with some joining Trump in the call to impeach the Atlanta-based prosecutor. "Fani Willis should be ashamed of herself and she's going to lose her job," said Republican U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. "We'll make sure of that." Greene spoke to reporters last Thursday outside the Fulton County Jail, shortly before Trump arrived by motorcade to submit to booking and a mugshot. That same day, House Republicans in Washington announced their own investigation of Willis. By then, a few GOP lawmakers in Georgia were calling for a special session to impeach and remove Willis or defund her office. Others proposed amending the state constitution to let Kemp pardon Trump. Both are long-shot prospects. Georgia's General Assembly hasn't impeached anyone in more than 50 years, and with Republicans holding less than the required two-thirds state Senate majority to convict Willis, they would have to persuade Democrats. Colton Moore, a Republican state senator whose purest brand of conservatism wins him few allies, launched a petition for lawmakers to call themselves into special session, requiring signatures by 3/5 of both houses. That too would require some Democratic support. Georgia voters amended the state constitution to shift pardon power from the governor to a parole board in the 1940s after a governor was accused of selling pardons. It would take a two-thirds vote of both houses to put a measure before voters to change that status, again requiring Democratic support. And it's not clear Kemp would pardon Trump even if he had that power. Kemp and Trump were on bad terms even before Kemp spurned Trump's calls to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election. And relations grew icier after Trump recruited former Senator David Perdue for an embarrassingly unsuccessful Republican primary challenge to Kemp's re-election in 2022. Kemp, like some other Republican governors, now openly argues that his party needs to move on from Trump. At least one other top Georgia Republican, State House Speaker John Burns, is siding with Kemp and opposing a special session. In a letter to fellow Republicans, he squelched talk of a special session, writing that he wants to look toward a positive vision that prepares for the bright future our children and grandchildren deserve. All those charged are innocent until proven guilty, and I am certain both sides will ensure this matter is exhaustively considered through the courts, Burns wrote, saying he wouldn't comment further. Burns' comments drew the scorn of Amy Kramer, a suburban Atlanta Republican activist who helped organize the January 6 Stop the Steal rally in Washington that spawned the assault on the U.S. Capitol. We need to flip these corrupt rhino seats to true conservatives who will actually work and fight for the people, Kramer wrote on social media. So embarrassing. Looking for other options to go after Willis, some Georgia Republicans are coalescing around a plan to seek her removal by a new state prosecutorial oversight commission that begins work on October 1st. The Prosecuting Attorneys Qualifications Commission was created with the aim of disciplining or removing wayward prosecutors. Republicans fought hard for the law because they said some Democratic prosecutors were incompetent or coddling criminals, improperly refusing to prosecute whole categories of crimes, including marijuana possession. Democrats retorted that Republicans were the ones politicizing prosecutions, and some viewed the law as Republican retribution against Willis. She criticized the measure as a racist attack after voters elected 14 non-white DAs in the state. The law lets the commission sanction prosecutors for willful misconduct in office or undue bias or prejudice against the accused or in favor of persons with interests adverse to the accused. It is unclear how the commission will interpret those terms because it hasn't created rules yet. Kemp, Burns, and Republican Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones named the commission's 5-member investigative panel to examine complaints. They also name a 3-member hearing panel that decides on charges filed by the investigative panel. Some district attorneys, not including Willis, are already suing to overturn the law. Barring court intervention, people can begin filing complaints on October 1st for alleged misconduct occurring after July 1st. Such complaints could relieve political pressure on Georgia Republicans. District Attorney Fani Willis has demonstrated that she is nothing more than a liberal activist attempting to bend the law to fit a narrative that she has spent an egregious amount of taxpayer resources to craft, State Senator Jason Anivitard wrote on social media, encouraging people to bring complaints. But if the commission's first act is to pursue Willis, critics say that will prove that it is nothing but a political tool to enforce GOP rule in Georgia. DeKalb County District Attorney Sherry Boston, a Democrat and plaintiff in the suit challenging the law, told the Associated Press Monday that using the commission against Willis would confirm that it's what its opponents warned it would be, an assault on prosecutorial independence and the latest attempt to subvert democracy in Georgia.